And welcome to Thala Unbound here on the Bear Pen. I'm Adrian Bear, and I am the storyteller for this campaign, and we are super excited to be back. We had a bit of a break because of recording and doing some other wonderful things, and we are back and in full force, and with some wonderful new people that are joining us here as players as well. And just a few announcements before we dive into it. Make sure to tune in on May 7th. All day long, pretty much all day long, we are hosting a charity stream, which we're calling Moon May, and it is in support of the New York Wolf Conservation Center. So we are raising money through Tiltify and to help this amazing center, just continue their education efforts, their conservation efforts, and yeah, so please join us then. Consider donating, and yeah, because we are a D&D stream here for this particular show as well, I will announce it as well. During the D&D game on Saturday as well, we have had a wonderful partnership with Idle Champions, who have graciously given us a special code that will unlock 3 gold chests. And in that particular stream, if we can reach the milestone of raising $50 in that particular stream, then the code will be shared out to y'all. So stay tuned for that on the streams. And anyway, let's dive in and introduce some of our fantastic players. We'll start with our new friends, and you can tell us who you are and who you will be playing. Because I would like the other players to react to the physicality, you don't have to mention a physical description yet. Just give a general idea of who you're playing and also where folks can find you on the internet. Why don't we start with Ethan?
Well, hello. I am Ethan. You can find me everywhere at Ethan and Dragons on everything. And today I'm going to be playing Valentine, the cleric.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, and next up, our other fantastic new player, Nos. Why don't you go ahead and tell us all about yourself and who you're playing?
I am Nosferatu. I go by @Nosferatu TTRPG pretty much everywhere nowadays. And I am playing Miller, the monk fighter monstrosity that I have built just for this campaign.
It's gonna be a heck of a lot of fun. Do will be back shortly. So, but we know Guru, our lovable bard, so he will be back shortly. But Dom, why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing, where we can find you on the internet?
Yep, I'm Dom. I do a couple different things for the Bear Pen. It's pretty much the only place I am online or anything. I play Jock, barbarian turned druid, and all of that body horror that comes with it. And yeah.
And of course, our fantastic Di.
Hi, everybody. I'm Di. You can find me on all the socials, pretty much always Twitter at Dichromaniac. You can see me here on the Bear Pen for some cool stuff that's coming up that Adrian mentioned. You can also find me on the Cookout TTRPG on Reclamation, and I've got a couple more things in the works I'm really excited to tell you all about once it gets more finalized.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And of course, our wonderful Anne is unfortunately at a work function. So good luck in the work function, Anne. I hope it goes wonderfully. Tuxel will be with us again next week. So we are going to dive directly in today, as we will be creating a new intro at some point. Our players, the Unifiers, had headed to the Undercity and undertaken a number of different quests and side quests and interactions with different people, eventually ending up at the academy and speaking to Headmaster Huitzilin. They had discovered a bit more information as well from one of the lecturers with regards to exactly what kind of hag they might be dealing with in this fishing village of Ilin that they want to head to. With the lecturer's help, they had discovered that it is quite likely, based upon the information that was given to them, that they might be dealing with night hags. So, following all of this, and waiting out a night in Huitzilin's magnificent mansion, they met with Huntmaster Zalas later in the following day, and were teleported with a few troubles, as Huitzilin had never been to the village of Ilin, to the village, suffering some damage, all of you. Upon arriving at this village, you had all noticed that it seems as if there is an air of, what's the word? I want to say jolliness that seems to be about. There are some banners hung in certain places and a few decorations. People seem to be celebrating, and what you had noticed primarily, which took your eye, was that on one of the docks, which is not far from the area which you had found yourself, tied to a hitching stake where one would sort of tie their boats to, was the body of a disemboweled hag. And you had seen on some of the banners that were placed around something to the effect of all praise Jalan Miran, who is the notable paladin which hundreds and hundreds of years ago was said to have defeated a great evil in this village. But we are first going to pick up with our two new companions, Miller and Valentine. Roughly 2 weeks ago, actually, maybe 3 weeks ago, yes, roughly 3 weeks ago, you, Miller specifically, had been sent out by Huntmaster Zalas to report to a town to the east of Miranzan, which is known as Itzamna. It is quite a bit of a journey to get to Itzamna, as you have to travel through the Umil Woods themselves, taking 10 days to pass through this area of the world. The reason for this travel and the reason for you bringing Valentine as a companion was that, at least at that stage, when you had been sent out, no one had heard any communication coming from Itzamna for a week already. No traders had been arriving, and no magical communication seems to be able to reach that town itself. Heading towards the borders of the Umil Woods, you had found yourselves unable to enter. It seemed that every time you entered into the borders of the woods, you found that you were walking out of it. You tried several different methods of entry, skirting around the edges of the Umil Woods further north, and the results were always the same. At this point in time, you were aware that you were getting close to the time of year where the Festival of Remembrance would be held, so perhaps it would be best for you to return to Miranzan and report your difficulties directly. The fastest route from where you are this far north would be to travel to the fishing village of Ilin and take a boat back. One day ago, from where the rest of the party had arrived, you had found the village themselves seeming to be celebrating. They gave you accounts of what had been taking place here, that it seemed that young girls had been going missing for a couple of, potentially a week now. Every night, a new young girl would disappear, and some people had set out to find the huntmaster in Miranzan itself and to request aid, as there are legends in this area of hags that abound. The inn that you found yourself staying at, which is known as the Blue Snapper Inn, full of people, bustling, and as much as a small fishing village can, but in the sense that people were rejoicing the return of these young girls and telling you stories about how these young girls had claimed that they were saved by none other than the ancient paladin, Jalan Miran, who had slain the hags and returned them to the village. You have spent the evening in this inn and are deciding to spend your day in the town square, perhaps gaining some more information. Miller, would you like to describe what the townsfolk would see when they look at Miller?
When the townsfolk look at Miller, they would see a Shardakai elf who has black hair about this long, green eyes, kind of tired looking. He has a short, very well kept beard considering his profession, and he's only wearing commoner clothes and a hood because he doesn't need armor. Other than that, he would be usually seen having a short sword on his back and a light crossbow.
And how about Valentine?
Valentine is on the younger side, about 28 years old, wearing this sort of red robe / cloak that covers most of their armor with a lot of religious symbology and sort of golds or whites across it. They are wispy blonde hair with these sky blue eyes and indentations on each cheek, showing that they're a bit, maybe slightly, only on the slight end of malnourishment. And they have this constant, kind smile across their face. They look out around them as they do. They have this sort of sword that's wrapped in, it's in its scabbard, but it's also wrapped in this cloth to completely conceal whatever it is, and has an amulet just around their neck. The main thing that people would notice is the way he has this wonderful, approachable countenance, but when you meet eyes with him, it's like he's looking through you. There is a nothingness, a glaze over, that an emptiness that you can only sort of sense if you have that eye contact connection.
Excellent. And you are standing close to where in the center of the town, there is this statue of Jalan Miran, who Valentine, yourself being a bringer, you are well acquainted with the legends, as she was a paladin of Silat, chosen by him specifically to be a champion. And even though nothing much takes place here in Ilin, being a small fishing village, the fact that it was founded on the site of Jalan Miran's great last stand battle is a point of pride and encourages, shall we say, occasional pilgrimages here by some of the bringers. Suddenly, not too far off in an empty space near the square, there appears drawings on the ground of arcane symbology, but in a shade of purple. And it seems as if this circle itself is shaky in a certain sense. And you find that there is a bit of a bang popping sound as a group of people are unceremoniously deposited in the center of it. And you can see that some of them are in a deal of pain as they bring themselves to their feet. Miller and Valentine, what are your passive perceptions?
13.
Mine is 17.
All right. Miller, it's very easy for you to see that Huntmaster Salas seems to be here with this group of people. And you mildly recognize some of the individuals, but the main thing is that you recognize the Huntmaster, who is essentially your boss in a way. Valentine, primarily with your 13, you recognize an old guildmate in the form of Chalk. Different from how he was before, but you have heard for sure details about his miraculous resurrection of sorts due to being saved by a colony of myconids. And for the rest of you, for Shashi and Chuck, Headmaster Huitzilin sort of doesn't stand up, but sits up from being prone and is holding on to his stomach and says, "Oh, I think I took more than a little bit of damage there. I hate to ask this, alas, but could one of these people please take me back? I think I might," and he passes out. Amaris looks to Lady Salome and says, "I don't think that's normal, is it?" No, it's not normal. Can you do something about this, my love?" "I did buy the teleportation circle spell. I suppose I can use it now that I have it. We will take them back if you don't have any concerns." And Salas nods his head. Amaris and Lady Salome gently gather up Headmaster Huitzilin and begins to cast his newly learned teleportation circle spell, and they back to Moranson. How would you all like to proceed?
So what's around us? What do we see? What do we see around us? What do I see around me?
Yes, of course. Make a perception check, Shashi and Chuck as well.
Oh, not too bad. Oh,
Dirty 20.
Hmm.
18.
All right. So, as mentioned before, you can see the banners and the people sort of like enjoying themselves, and the body of a dead hag, presumably
Mhm.
tied up on this hitching stake by the dock. And you also notice two individuals who are guild individuals. Chalk specifically, you
Yeah.
know Valentine, and Zalas sort of has a look at Miller. Shashi, you see this group as well, and you definitely notice that Zalas has sort of a cocked eye. And begins to walk over to the two of you, Valentine and Miller.
As I recognize Valentine, I imagine I'd approach him, maybe hasten my pace a little bit, having delayed a bit behind Zalast.
Mm-hmm.
With like an arm out, one of those warrior arm grasp
Mm-hmm.
shakes, approaching that. Sort of excited to have, not a lot of what came before is still a part of my life. So that sort of momentary excitement at like, oh, this is something from a whole different chalk. And little off character side note, would it have been cool if I called you Val in familiarity, or no? Or is there a name?
Probably like V is fine.
V?
Only his
Okay.
wife is allowed to call him Val.
Dope. Okay, so yeah, I would, in a great excitement, V, my gosh, it's been some time, and hold the arm out.
Jock.
Yeah. Warrior grasp. There it is. There's the moment. What are you here? I'm assuming you followed the legends.
Yes, well, I was on with my companion. This is Miller Berda.
Nice to meet you, Miller.
Miller is fine. Yeah, kind of offers a handshake. He has the look of someone who has seen some stuff. Get that impression right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say reply with a handshake. That doesn't sound right. Handshake confirmed.
Well, we just so happened to be here when we heard the rumors. We were actually on our way doing something else, but were blocked from our path.
So this is complete chance.
Exactly.
I came on the rumors of hags and apparently the tales of Paladin Jiren. I said that right?
Jalan Miran.
Jalan Miran. Okay. I just mixed the two together.
Yeah.
Jalan Miran. It seemed like it couldn't be a coincidence that this town be the. We had rumors of missing children.
It also can't be a coincidence that one of my scouts appears to be here when I distinctly recall sending them to Itzamna almost a month prior. Without word, I might add, Miller.
Well, there was a problem. The location seems to be cut off magically, and we can't get in. The woods seem to be looping in on themselves. So we decided to report back and, stopped on the way here, and Miller kind of nods towards the hag on the tree. That's not normal.
Oh,
No.
missing children aren't normal either.
Indeed. Well,
Tilt's head.
I am glad to see that you're alive. I don't feel like training up a new recruit anytime soon, so that is a blessing that you are here, I suppose. And, well, How long have you two been here now?
About the day.
Anything you've noticed in this time?
I don't like it. It seems a bit way too jolly for my taste. I'm also not partial to the ancient paladins coming back and solving all their problems all of a sudden.
Coming back.
I
Do
mean,
That
you-
was going to happen.
apparently, some ancient paladin appeared out of seemingly nowhere and killed one of the hags. She's displayed over there.
The missing girls that were returned back reported as such.
So have you met, you haven't met the paladin?
Not as far as I know.
No.
Normally I'd not be one to believe it, but I've come back from some pretty bad places. You know, my the boundaries of what is possible is definitely expanded since we may have last spoken. I feel like we need to try and see if we can find, maybe should we talk to these children? You said they were saved. That takes a big burden off of what we thought we were here for.
That's what they report. But
Right.
sorry, Jacques, who is this? Is this your friend?
Yes, I'm so rude. Yes, Chachi. I don't know what guild you're from. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Actually, Chachi and Chalk, as this is Nas and Ethan's first time joining us here, describe your characters for us.
Oh, dope. Would you like to go ahead? This is a good moment.
Sure. So Sashi presents themselves. They're a gnome, long brown braid, very simple blue tunic and pants, wrapped around, along with hand wraps, as is fitting for a monk. The thing you notice about them most, though, for being a gnome, is that they are stretched a little bit. They're just like a little bit too thin and a little bit too tall. They look like you put a gnome in a taffy stretcher, and there's just something a little uncanny valley about them. Also, right now, you'll notice that as part of their draconic heritage, the scales, they have a shimmering, shifting design of scales across their face. Right now, it's in a rather benign sort of butterfly shape, but you'll notice as their mood changes or in different light, it sort of changes into different shapes, as well as their dragon mark tends to move and shift. Right now, it's on their forearm, but you can see it sort of moving up and down and shimmering in the light. And Zashi bows and says, "It's any friend of Jacques is a friend of mine. It's a pleasure to meet you."
Just to get the definite the description out there. So yeah, Jock is pretty physically big and lean satyr. Almost like leans more into almost what I'd imagine like a bull, like almost almost more minotaurish as I've always pictured it compared to that kind of fawny satyr. He big thing you would notice, he's got a golden Ouroboros nose ring, and one of his horns is noticeably just cleaved, which at one point would have exposed, beneath his skull, but it is now basically filled up with this myconid fungal growth that then sort of goes down into his skin, his eyes, it whites his eyes, and down through his neck and his right, oh gosh, I don't remember which arm it is now. I haven't thought about it in a while. I think it's left, but well, I leave that open to being changed. So yeah, and noticeably he has a big staff, which the fungal spores sort of interact with. And so typically at any given moment, you might see the almost like like tendrils going in and out of the staff, which in battle will take on the appearance of a battle axe. Yeah, that is what I can think of at the moment with chalk. Lots of that, like, I don't know what to call it, cobalt blue. If he's wearing any sort of articles of clothing, mostly he wouldn't, but that kind of image, gold and that cobalt blue.
And how about Guru? Would you describe Do for our two friends here?
Absolutely. He probably was off somewhere, getting a bite to eat, comes back with a plate, picks out, I was like, may I, picks off one of the mushrooms off of him, shock him, and puts on his plate. You can see a well-dressed, like flamboyant looking man that looks you know, kind of like he just jumped out of the ocean. He just jumped out of like the ocean or sea or what have you that you're familiar with, as he's a water genasi and a bard that loves to sing and have fun, and has enough tools in his pockets to hopefully get us out of most things we get in trouble with. And his dragon heritage is pretty much on his like over his eyebrows and like on his shoulders and stuff like that, you know. Just patches here and there, he's just, you know, having a time, and his hair kind of looks like it's like sea anemone tentacles tied back. I actually had to look up what those were. Apparently they're actually sea anemone tentacles. So yeah.
Indeed.
And he kind of looks like, you know, he has like light blue, you know, kind of like the sky blue skin, and it looks like, you know, like someone just jumped out of the water. How it's still, you know, wet. Being a water genasi. Yeah. Like it shines with it with his smile, with his award-winning smile.
Excellent. And when Anne is back next week, we'll have her describe what Tuxel looks like to both of you. So yes, Zalas says, I don't particularly like the idea of an ancient paladin being resurrected and conveniently killing what we came here for either. So I think it's likely a good idea for us to have a look and see what is going on. Where are you two staying?
Miller kind of turns to Valentine. It's like, what did you say the place was called?
The Blue Snapper Inn.
Yes, and the innkeeper would have introduced herself as Alta Carter, an Azamar woman. Yes, do.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, can I roll on a history or a religion check for something about the paladin we came here that they want to stop from being resurrected?
So a bit of a thing. The stories are that once Valentine and Miller had arrived at this village, which you had all come here to stop these hags from abducting children, basically, they had found that the village themselves were celebrating. The children had been returned and had claimed that it was the paladin Jalan Miran that had slain the hags and returned them. And the body of one of these hags is tied to a hitching post by one of the docks and has been gutted. So you all previously had gotten quite a bit of information about Jalan Miran from Chuck as well, a great paladin of the Bringers, a champion of the god of neutrality Silat, the last known wielder of an artifact known as Ishkel, which was a sword that Salat would only impart to his champions. And this person has been dead for hundreds and hundreds of years, apparently died in a battle defeating the great evil on this location where the village has been founded. Yeah.
Well, I guess my specific question would be, would I, since I'm not a paladin myself, I wanted to see if you would violate the tenets by, you know, slaughtering the hag, because the ones of the ancients are supposed to love all living creatures and think that undead are abominations, and the hags are fae, so they are considered living. So I wanted to, instead of metagaming that knowledge, I was going to see if I could, if you would know it.
It depends. Yeah. So for this, I'll give you a religion check just to see what you understand, particularly about paladins amongst the bringers and the different gods.
I had an 8. He doesn't know anything. This man is a good man. Fair evil.
All right. So are you muted? You might be muted, Dom.
I was. Shall we speak to these children?
I think so. I mean, Paladin rising, anyone rising back from the dead hundreds of years later is great interest at the very least. And then
I'd also. After you.
I would just say if it's not the Paladin, then it's someone pretending to be him, which sounds
Her.
awful.
I'd also.
Go ahead.
I'd also like to inspect the body before we move any further to see how it was slain as well. It can be quite telling.
Absolutely. So you too are a being of science.
I've done some surgeries in my time, that's true.
Oh, we have something in common then.
Huh. Well, I'd love for your expert opinion on
I would.
this.
As you are all beginning to make your way, but not very far distance, as this is not an enormous village, to the dock which you can see this hitching post is, and there are some people around which occasionally throw stones at the body. You actually, in Valentine and Miller, you would notice that the innkeeper is walking up to you with a smile on her face, and she says, "Oh, lovely! Some new people in town. I didn't actually see any of you come in. Are these your friends, Valentine and Miller?"
Looks like it.
Yes. Long, not long lost, but old friends.
Well, we barely get any visitors here at all, and now we have a whole group of people coming in, and honestly, I don't really know how to greet you all properly, but and she sort of holds out her hand. I'm Alta, and I run the Blue Snapper Inn, and I'm also well, we're not really big enough, I would say, to have a mayor in the village, but I, you know, with the largest building in town, people let me help run things, I suppose. I'm in charge, as people like to say, although I think it's just an excuse because I happen to be good with organization.
Would go up and like shake her hand, and he's like, "I do." It's like it's always nice to see a woman with strong shoulders to carry responsibility. And he like kind of goes, "Haha."
Well, thank you. I appreciate all the
Miller is
compliments.
already doing the
and when he raises up one of his hands, he leaves a flower inside of her hand.
Roll a persuasion check. No, just make it a general charisma check. So just roll a d20 and add your charisma modifier.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Which should be good for a bard.
Dirty 20.
All right. Well, you can see there is a bit of a blush to her cheeks, and she says, "Thank you very much. It's not every day I get flowers either. What was your name then?"
Oh, Dew Barley, representing from the Guild of Unifiers, representative of the Guild of Growers.
Right. Okay. So, oh gosh, y'all must be here about that then. And she points to the body of the hag.
As it happens.
Yeah, quick
Oh.
question, by the way. Did she end up like that when you got it, or did the locals decide to have a go at a corpse?
Well, she was just left like that shortly before you arrived, really. Basically, in the morning, we found the body like that, and thankfully, a bit of distance from the entrails, the bodies of the 6 sleeping young girls that were taken.
And Miller just walks over to the corpse to check it out.
I absolutely follow Miller to go and take a look as well.
All right. And Valentine, I know you were interested in that as well. Are you joining us to have a look?
Absolutely.
All right. So
I'll stick around and work out possible accommodations if need be.
what kind of checks would you like to make is my question.
I would like a medicine check, please.
Okay.
That's reasonable.
Walter would like Walter, wrong character. Miller would like investigation.
Okay.
If I can twist, I want to see how vicious the attacks are. I don't know if that's either medicine or insight, to see if there was if this was done out of anger or if it was just done cleanly.
I'm going to say we'll make that investigation. So as yourself and Miller are potentially investigating for different things, I'll have you both roll separately, and Shashi, you can also roll your medicine check there. And as you 3 are busy doing that, Alsa actually continues speaking to Chuck and Tuxel and Do and the rest, and says, "So, if you're here, I imagine that is it made it then to Moranson?"
The rumor?
No,
the guy.
elderly fella, deep gnome.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well,
We were
not
so worried about
not
him.
exactly. He didn't we meet him in the Undercity?
Yes, that's where he
Right.
was staying.
Yeah. We met him in the Undercity
Right.
when we were looking into a different matter, but that one was put on the side burner because it wasn't as immediate as missing children.
And he seemed, correct me if I'm wrong, he seemed a little upset that he wasn't getting the help he was looking for through the channels he was using, if I remember correctly.
It was more that, he had come there to try and look for the Huntmaster, and then the attacks happened.
Oh, and then he was
Yeah,
stuck. Right,
so
okay.
then he was sort of stuck and injured and had to
Right.
wait and all that kind of stuff.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm glad he
So,
made it back all right.
He's he's tough as nails. Strong one, he is.
He is. He's also exceptionally kind and doesn't give himself enough credit. I think wisdom is something to be valued, but apparently Izzet thinks that because he can't haul in as much fish as he used to, his use is past, but you know, I think that's just silly. Like,
True.
what were those rolls there, Miller and Valentine and Shashi?
I rolled a 14, and then my medicine is a 7 for 21.
All right.
I rolled a 9 for my investigation.
Okay.
I rolled a 6.
All right. So, Miller and Valentine, it's hard to say, particularly how this body was attacked, per se. But the obvious things that you do find on the body is that you do find the clothing that the hag was still wearing clothing, a sort of deep burgundy sort of dress, which surprisingly very well made, but very much designed like something a villain would wear. It is designed to look as if, hey, I'm evil and I know it. And something that you do note as well, which is quite obvious to you. It's very easy to see. So even with those low rolls, both of you do spot that, is that on the hag's right hand claw, I guess, you can see that she has a ring on 3 of her fingers. So 3 rings. And they all are of the same construction. It seems to be just a very dullish, almost iron-colored color. And there are 3... Well, actually, you see those. To get more information on them, because your investigation checks were lower, you would have to take them off if you wanted to.
Miller's gonna.
All right. Fair enough. You can take them off. Shashi, with that wonderful medicine check, you are able to tell that, okay, definitely organic. You had gone to the biology professor to get more information. So, she had given some very good information about the physiology of different hags and stuff. So you're like, wow, she's actually a really good professor. I know exactly where everything was here. You're able to tell with your knowledge that the cut was swift and forceful, and that it was clean as well. And something you do notice, I would say, is that you have... What would I call it? I want to call them radiation burn marks, because essentially radiant damage is radiation, but along the cuts. So it's different from fire damage cauterization, but so something radiant had sliced through there, and obviously all the innards had spilled out. So it was a swift, forceful killing blow that had also employed radiant damage.
Okay, I'm going to point this out to Valentine especially. Look, you see that blistering there? You would have expected more of a cauterization type pattern, but this cut here, clearly done by someone who knew what they were doing. And while I'm not an expert in matters of holiness and clerics, it's definitely not fire or poison. Seems reasonable to assume that, well, maybe the children are telling the truth.
Well noticed. You don't have a doctorate of any kind, do you?
Just a lot of hands-on experience and
Okay.
some very thoughtful and patient teachers.
You're very observant. For the burns themselves, it's as you say, this is all signs point to some sort of radiant damage. Either we have someone capable of this taking on this visage. Maybe we are in the presence of such a figure.
You know, I'm not an expert, but something tells me paladins usually don't display corpses of their enemies, especially if they're supposed to rescue someone.
Well, seems like the townspeople displayed it. Paladin just killed it.
They apparently they found it like this.
Could it
So-
be some kind of warning?
To who though? You think the hags live among the people or something?
Perhaps the hags
Huh?
are coming from this direction. I don't. But based
If-
on what we've learned about them so far, I don't think they would necessarily care.
If
quick
they were.
storyteller question. Miller, you have removed those rings, yes?
Yeah, he has no compassion from the dead for the dead. He's taking the rings off.
Okay. Are you
Alright.
going to look at them at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So they appear to be plain iron. Not just plain iron, but they appear to be forged from cold iron, which for you is very bizarre. Being a wayfinder, you are taught about a lot of different ways to kill potential monsters and such, and you have a general understanding that fags are somewhat fey, and cold iron is very uncomfortable to fey creatures. What sticks out is that each of the rings has a different glyph inscribed upon them. Does Miller speak Infernal at all?
Yes.
Okay, they are just 3 names. There's a name on each of the ring.
Mhm.
The one name is sorry. Let me just get my notes here. The one ring says Roxal. The other ring says Lagan. And the third ring says Morgeth.
And Miller is looking at those rings and says, "That's cold iron. Hags shouldn't be wearing cold iron rings." And also, and he kind of thinks, "Do the names, Roxanne? What was the first one?
I'll put them in chat for you as well. So they are
Thank you.
Roxal,
Roxal. Okay, because I'm taking notes and spelling is fun.
Lagan, and Morgeth. Whoop.
Yeah.
So Miller kind of looking at the rings and says, "And do the names Roxal, Lagan, and Morgeth ring a bell to any of you?"
I know Roxelle.
No, that's Roxanne.
Oh, don't we know someone named Roxelle? Doesn't he got one of the hunt masters or he one of the guild masters or something? So I remember there's someone of importance with Roxelle.
Can I
no.
roll a
Oh.
check to see if maybe that pings a bell somewhere?
Yeah, if anyone would like to, you're all welcome to make a history check. Because of your specific nature, you are able to do this with advantage if you like, because you are trying to recall tales.
All right.
That's
It
only
is-
a 10 for me,
Okay.
unfortunately. I rolled
That's
a
a
3.
That's a 13 for
Okay.
me on a history check.
7, slowly climbing.
You'll get there one day.
Am I involved in this role? I wasn't aware. if
Yeah,
I
you
was.
can be.
All right. What were we rolling? History. you
History.
said? Oh, that's not gonna be bad. 1 second here. Where's my tab? There it is. History. Oh, it's not as high as I thought. 19.
You rolled better than anybody.
Nice.
What was yours as well, dude?
Mine was like 13.
Okay.
I'm now the guy walking out with like a big bowl of some soup I got in the inn. Like, oh,
So-
Check for you.
Smart food, right? Brain food.
So
watching you mess with this corpse while slurping noodles behind you.
you're all thinking about these names, and they're not particularly ringing any bells. And Chuck, without warning, you release a cloud of spores.
Uh-oh, I spored.
And these are rapport spores. So everyone, you are not hearing Chuck speak right now physically, but you can all speak to each other telepathically, and it might be a shock for a bit. But Chuck, you know that this is more knowledge that is coming from the hive, because they are speaking through you. So all of you are hearing this in a sort of multitude of different voices, but it's like, oh yes, very nasty things. Okay, should we tell them about the time? Oh, I don't think that's necessary. They just need to know that they're horrible. They never used to be together. I remember back when. So it's very disconcerting in a sense, but then you hear one go, shh, focus. Oh, those are all hags' names. They used to hate each other, then they stopped hating each other, and then they became not really friends, but they were together.
Very interesting.
I immediately, as soon as I see the spores and start hearing the voices, take out my special Jacques notebook and start furiously scribbling.
I'd ask Miller if he found anything else on the Hague that didn't seem like it belonged to the Hague on on the body.
Can Miller give it a once over? Probably not.
I included that in the investigation check.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, no.
I know it's too bad.
But I think those rings might get you a pretty copper if you want them.
I
Alright,
think these are evidence, and we should keep them and bring them to one of our guild leaders as some sort of evidence or to be researched and studied. These could be fae, these could be weapons, these
Sure.
we don't know.
I kind of look at the rings. I'm like, Sashi, out of your own opinion, what would you think would be the likelihood that these rings did not belong to the Hague? Like if they were planted on them by our paladin friend, or seemingly to be paladin friend.
It's very likely that I actually had a similar train of thought that perhaps these had been applied to the hag post-mortem as a warning, or perhaps we're not actually dealing with a fae hag and they come from some other origin.
Okay, fine. I got something I can do. To see if I can find the person if someone does own these other rings. Okay, Adrian, you might like this one. I'm gonna use polymorph and turn do into a blood mage, because blood mages are level 10 spellcasters, and I'm a level 10 spellcaster.
Polymorph will give you some animals and some beasts and such, but something along those lines would be I think same with the 8th level spell, like shape change, true polymorph. It would be those.
I knew polymorph and true polymorph. I forgot the the drawbacks of polymorph from true polymorph. I knew true polymorph was permanent. That's one of the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So close. Something else.
Perhaps we should talk to the children. I think we should hang on to the rings for now, just in
True.
case.
Time to go do some Scooby-Doo mystery walk, guys.
So
Miller looks slightly uncomfortable when you mention the children. Like, not the I don't like children uncomfortable, but that would probably require an inside check.
the innkeeper slash mayor is still not far off and has been keeping an eye on you and such, and being like, while you're busy doing your medicine check work. And she says, oh, if you want to speak to some of the children, like, I suppose we can ask some of their parents. There is due to be, people are celebrating an impromptu celebration, I guess, and who knows how many days it will be up. But most of the children are out enjoying some of the games that have been set up and some of the foods that are being prepared. So if you'd like, you can make your way to some of the parents.
We'll have to be tactful.
I'm still slurping noodles, and I give a shoulder butt to do.
Huh?
He said we have to be tactful, and then I shoulder butted you, like put you forward.
Oh, hello there.
Well, sure. Tell you what, would you like to get settled in a room or something first, and then go out and speak to the people, or I can just point them out to you if you'd like. You're entirely your call, I imagine.
Don't worry. Dude would stick back his hair, and he's like, I teach children to sing in Morazin. I'm very good with such. I was speaking with kids.
Well, if you three are perfectly capable to keep going, then by all means.
Oh, how remind me how I'm feeling constitutionally after smacking through a mountain.
Oh, yeah, you just took the damage and such. Other than that, you are fine. There's no other drawbacks and stuff from that. Headmaster Huitzlin, on the other hand, even though he is exceptionally magically skilled and quite fit, he has a very low constitution. So he's not feeling real good. That's why he wanted to go back home.
Dope. Yeah, I'm more than prepared to continue going. We might even meet a legend, a myth.
Indeed.
Oh, you too humble, my friend Dom. You're a legend and a myth.
Oh my.
Just the living. You're just still living.
My spores blush.
You know what they say about never meeting your heroes? That.
All right then. Let's see. So, who was it? There was gosh, let me get you the people over there. Well, there are the couple over there, and she points to a tiefling man and a tiefling woman with a young little tiefling girl. Their daughter's name is Salandra. She was taken. She was one of the ones taken, and you can see that this girl is probably between 6 and 8 years old, about. She seems to be happily working with her parents, and then she points out a rather tall Minotaur man with another tall comparatively to everyone else, but Minotaur girl. She says, that is David, and that is Lillian. Lillian was also one of the one of the girls take, and she is, gosh, she's almost 12 now, I believe, which for you, Shashi, it's kind of like, good lord, Minotaurs are tall. This, she's like, compared to you, this almost 12, 11-year-old girl is like 5'10", basically, and who else can I see that is in the square right now? Oh, there's Tanita. And you can see there is a girl, probably around 9 years old, Asmar girl, and appears to be playing. Gosh, what is it? When you have like someone has taken old like cart rims, and they have sticks, and they're trying to make the cart rim, and do have little races and make sure that the little old cart rim does not fall over. Those are the ones that I can see that are out and about at the moment. I imagine perhaps the rest are still with their families, but I guess you could start there if you would like.
What do you like? Do not worry, everyone. To lift the spirits I have an idea to lift the spirits and gain more trust and favor with the townspeople. Are any one of you good with song or dance? I'm sure you are,
Okay.
Hisashi. At least you're because I know you're pretty nimble with your body. With your because martial arts are just like dancing, just less violent.
I'm willing to give it a chance. It's been a number of years since I danced.
Since you boogied.
We can give it a try. Can I also? I have that Glamour Weave. Could I also? I don't have like the fancy version of it, but I could also like pull that out and kind of use it to attract attention.
Can you remind me what it does again? I know you've used it once before, but I forget.
So it's just a clothing imbued with harmless illusory magic. You can use a bonus action to create a moving illusory pattern within the cloth.
Oh yeah, that'll totally give you some advantage on a performance check. Totally.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just maybe have it do like a pattern of rainbows across it, sort of like a prismatic, multicolored thing that catches the eye, but is pretty neutral and not. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Adrian.
We could always just save time and talk to them, but by all means, put on a display. It's fine.
Oh, and trust me, if we put on display, that means they'll be more willing to talk to us, because then the guards, and they let down the guards, because these children were taken 1 day ago. Remember, Celeste, they're still children. Relief is a very strong
motivator.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my stat spread. I have way more performance than I thought I had, and I'm trying to figure out why. Like, just meant like because I don't think he'd be particularly good at dancing. So I was sitting here
So V, you just sing in the choir.
To you, because I needed 2 in performance. I don't see this ending.
No, I love it. I love it.
Press 2 performance with advantage is good.
I've got +7.
Nice.
I don't know how. I don't know why it is.
It's okay. Sometimes you look at stuff and you're like, I wonder what's up with that. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So, you're going to be playing something?
Yeah, I want to specifically play my my guild boon, Song of Life, just to see to remove any curses from the children.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. So,
big brain.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So you begin to take out your instruments and play this tune, which is great. And Shashi, you are going to be accompanying this with a performance. Chuck, are you joining or not?
I'm wondering if I can't. Maybe it's not so much that he performs, but like the spores do really cool, interesting displays, almost like a
Sure.
storytelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, I make Chachi look like she is just got magical powers.
All right, fantastic. So,
At advantage or whatever.
well, she has advantage because of the
Ah.
thing. So I'm gonna let all three of you make your own rolls, and we're gonna see how this goes.
That's a nat 20.
Ooh.
That's a 17 total.
That's an 11 for me.
Okay.
It's not as bad as it could have been. It was a 2 and a 13, so
Still.
It's a it's a 15, so it's pretty good.
The combined effort, definitely, especially with Chuck's natural 20 there, adding in all of that, it brings in it starts to draw in a crowd of people, and you are singing the song, and people are starting to feel a lot better. And just generally, they were already in good spirits, but all of you around are feeling in a lot better spirits now. And anything that might have been affecting you along the lines, those lines of any curses or such, would move off of you, which is very, very nice. And the spores which you have released into the air, Chuck, they are, along with the movements and dance that Shashi is creating with the Glamour Weave, it is a very sensory experience. So people are experiencing a story in their minds as well as visually. It is quite delightful. And once you are finished, people clap and are enjoying themselves, and you've attracted a fair crowd. It does not seem as if there was a reaction along the lines of anything like a curse or anything being removed. Yeah, nothing along those lines.
Well, better safe than sorry. As Drew brushes his shoulders off. He's like, thank you for coming out for our performance. Hopefully we have done the townspeople right. Just claps and hopefully moves along, and we go to talk to the parents and the children now.
All right. The ones that were in town enjoying themselves are not too far from you now, as they had come to listen to the music and to have a dance and to enjoy themselves. And who would you like to try and talk to first?
Probably go to youngest to oldest, huh? Because I feel like if you go to the oldest to youngest, the oldest one's gonna remember the most. But there might be slight details that they wouldn't have noticed that one of the others could.
We could always divide and conquer and compare stories later.
True.
Are any of you particularly good with children, Miller, Valentine, or
Miller kind of shrinks when you ask that. But
Salas sort of leans into Miller a little bit and says, "Don't tell the others, but you've kind of always been my favorite." Because he knows exactly how you feel right now.
it's amazing.
Oh, Huntmaster Salas. Do you guys want to team up and talk to one of them?
I can try. I will.
Fine.
Which one?
You two have first pick. I guess since we're dividing and conquering, would Shock, Shashi, or V, would you like to come with me?
I can go with you. I don't know if I'm much help in the talking
It's okay.
department, but
It's okay, Sashi. Once again, I shall be your voice, and you shall be my fist.
Take my voice and my fist. No.
I guess Valentine and Shock. All right, good luck, everyone. We shall meet up after our negotiations or conversations are finished.
We'll speak to the oldest one. Hopefully, she has some common sense.
All right, very well.
I guess I would take the youngest. If you would like to take if you would like to go right in the middle of Valentine, with Shock.
If it's quite all right with you, I'd like to speak with Solandra.
Oh, of course. Azamar to Azamar. Sounds sounds fitting.
Solandra is the tiefling girl. Tanita
My
is the
bad.
Azmar girl. Lillian is the Minotaur girl.
My bad. I guess however you want. Yeah, okay. You can have the tiefling girl, and I go talk to the other one.
If that works for you, of course.
Oh, that makes you feel more comfortable. By all means.
All right. So we will focus on the conversation with Solandra first. Well, actually, sorry. Dom has just stepped away, so we will go to that second. We will focus on the conversation then with Lillian first. Zalas and yourself, Miller, you make your way over to where you see the tall, imposing, around 7 foot, but big smile on his face, just super happy. He's very much a gentle giant looking kind of man. You can tell that, he eats a lot. He's kind of like portly as far as it goes. Just a big happy cow man on a day with his daughter, and just super happy that she is back and happy. And they have stopped off at somebody that has set up a little stall that is making some fish pies. What would you like to do, Miller?
Miller is nervous.
If it makes you feel better, before you left, I would have gave you bark inspiration.
All
That's the pat
right,
on the
all
shoulder.
right.
Yeah, I kind of failed on you. I kind of dropped it on you guys, so I'm not heartless.
Well, I'm not going to start. I think you should.
Do you want to? It's like leans. Do you want me to talk to the dad first, or?
Probably. I think it's quite strange when two full-grown men just start talking to a young child.
All right. And Miller approaches the father, introduces himself, full name, official title, if there is such a thing, offers a handshake,
And
screaming internally.
the big meaty hand grasps your own and shakes it, but it's not like crushing or like anything like that. He's just shaking your hand in a very pleasant fashion and says, well, thank you for introducing yourself. My name is Beston. It is nice to see other people in the village. I think I saw you yesterday, actually. You just arrived in time for the miracle.
Yeah. Did the miracle really just show up? Wasn't there anything odd the night before or during?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been sleeping terribly, along with the general, nightly occurrences where we just seem to also fall asleep and wake up, and then another child has gone missing. But that did not happen last night. But I do remember that my sleep was untroubled by dreams, as far as I recall. I actually got to sleep last night, but woke up in the morning and, well, some of the earliest among us that are the fishermen found the children and the dead hag. Ran out as fast as I could and saw my Lillian there, and after we checked to make sure that they were all right, they seemed to wake up naturally by themselves not 2 hours after.
It seems. I'm happy your daughter is okay, but we are
The
currently. Oh, what?
the daughter is kind of looking at you as well, and she's holding her father's hand, but you could see she's like, one of her hooves is sort of like tapping the ground. It's like, I am right here, mister.
I can see that.
You
And I'm
can
pretty sure. Wait,
you can talk about me like I'm here, you know?
okay,
Like, I'm
how much
almost
is
12.
How much is 100 centimeters in feet, or 170 centimeters in feet?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
5'10" is, I think she's taller than you. I'm pretty
she's
sure she's
taller
taller than you.
Well, 150 centimeters is 4.9 feet, so 5 feet. So she would be shorter than me.
She's 5'10".
She's five. Oh, okay, 5'10"
Yeah.
in feet. Okay.
So I know 5'11" is around 180 or something like that.
Yeah.
So a little bit taller, around the same height as you.
He just kind of looks up like this. I can see that. So, since I'm supposed to talk to you like you're here, do you remember anything odd from before you woke up in the village, or right as you were waking up?
Well, we spent a couple of days with those horrible ladies, and they were feeding us really gross stuff. And then we sort of like heard yelling and then fell asleep and then woke up back home. But after the yelling, you know, before we woke up back here, we saw like that lady, the one, you know, who's been killed. She sort of ran into a room to try get away from some other lady who was kind of tall and seemed like she had wings or something on her back, and she like cut her with a sword, and then we all fell asleep. And we know the stories because we have the statue, and she looked a lot like Jalen Mirren.
A lot? Was there anything that seemed like different from the statue, or was she exactly the same? Do you remember?
She was really glowy.
Glowy. I would like to insight check this kid. She seems way too way too calm.
All right. You want to insight the check? Go ahead. Go ahead and insight check the child.
That is 19 on my insight check.
All right. 19 on the insight check. Let's see. 19 is very good. What you can judge from how Lillian is how Lillian is talking to you is that in the beginning, once you had like started talking to her face to face, she felt like, I'm almost, you know, I'm a grown up now, I'm like almost 12. She definitely started calming down and was happier that you were talking to her directly and not her dad. And she is definitely kind of excited in the fact that she's recounting the story, and she's trying to tell it less like a kid would in her mind.
It's like Miller is like, okay. Now, how about you tell me what happened? And I mean, really, what happened? Like, with. I'm trying to English it into proper English and I'm failing miserably. He is basically trying to coax her into telling the story without the polishing that a teenager would force on it to make it seem cool. And I failed to find words for it. Send help.
I mean, that sounds about right.
He's basically trying to coax the truth, quote unquote, out of her. It's just kind of like, okay, and what if you told me what happened, and kind of leads her on, so she kind of opens up in that direction, hopefully.
The her father, who introduced himself as best and sort of puts his hand on her shoulder and sort of gives her a gentle squeeze and says, "You're doing very well, Lillian. Doing very well. So we'll do it one more time, slowly, just from the beginning." And so she takes a deep breath. It was nighttime, and I heard somebody singing. I came outside, and it was very misty, but the singing was very pretty. So I followed the singing, and I met a very pretty woman. And she said her name was Roxal. And then the pretty woman took me to her house. And then I fell asleep and woke up and I was in a cage. And the pretty woman wasn't pretty anymore. She looked like that. We were there for a long time. And they kept on feeding us gross stuff. And every now and then we could hear somebody else talking, not just the three ladies. And one time there was also like another person talking, but that was only one time. But I could never really hear what they were talking about. And I was really scared.
That is normal.
And then one day, all three of the ladies were gone for a whole day. And then there was the sound of screaming, and it happened like I said.
Oh, thank you. It's gonna help us all out. And Miller kind of turns to the dads, like, you did a good job at the kid. He's gonna speed walk away. Almost.
Thank you for your time. And yeah, Ewan's the last sort of move away. And then we will go to the next group. Why don't we go for the youngest? No, let's go for the youngest, Solandra. So that would be Valentine and Chuck. All right. Yes, you see that there is the family, a husband and wife, and their young daughter. And at this point in time, they actually do seem to be beginning to walk off up a hill potentially towards their own house to take a rest.
Are you any good with kids, Jacques?
You might be muted, Dom.
Dominic doesn't know if Chalk is good with kids. Probably. It seems like if I want my idea for choco chip cereal to take, I gotta build my rapport.
Oh yeah. Get them choco chips in.
You know, has to you gotta plant the roots.
Yeah. Get them early. Well, we're about to find out. Maybe I'll with my little walking stick, trying to increase my pace, like call out, hey, sorry, excuse me.
The
Man.
the
Hey, you.
the
Hey,
family
you.
does turn, and the female tiefling, she says, "Yes, sorry, can we help you? We were just about to head home."
We were hoping just for a second to have a conversation about what's happened with these hags. We were sent here to investigate, and imagine our surprise, having arrived to what is essentially a myth return, a legend returned.
No, mister, she's real.
She sure is. She's one of my favorite of all the legends of the bringers. It's Mirren, her last name.
Yes, Jalan Mirren.
Jalan Mirren was who I hoped to one day be like, and still to this still aspire to.
No, you can't be like her. You're not glowy.
Am I
It's
able?
true.
Am I able to make a little fake glow out of that performant with the little spores like I did in the show?
You can try.
Nah, it's all
You
good.
can try.
Yeah. I still got some growing to do. We're all going somewhere. Where did you see her?
Not to be terribly rude, sir, but it's been a long day. I think we want to take our daughter home so she can get some rest.
That's very understandable. We are concerned with the nature of these creatures, and though we do understand, we are a little concerned with what this might. There's a lot happening here that you would probably know is abnormal, and we would hate to know that we left this place undefended or unprotected, considering. So I do understand, but if just any bit of insight, just a moment's talk, we would really appreciate it.
Make a persuasion. Yes, make a persuasion check. Of course.
No. The spores be with me. 8, 7, 19.
19. All right. And the husband and wife look at each other, and he gets down to eye level with his daughter and says, he says, "Dear, I know you're a bit tired, but if you could answer the questions of this man, it would probably help make sure that nothing bad happens again." And she nods her head and says, "Yes, Daddy. I'm a big girl."
So you actually saw her.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you? Where were you when this happened?
We're all in a big cage, and I was very scared. I don't know how long we had gone there. Been there, sweetheart. Okay, been there. And there was lots of yelling and some screaming, and we saw one of the scary ladies come run in and turn around, and then we saw the glowy lady Jalen. She had these big wings, and I was so scared, but it was very pretty, but scary at the same time. And then she was big sword is like so big, like bigger than daddy. And the sword, she used the sword, and it was very bright. My eyes hurt a little bit, and she killed the scary lady, and then I went to sleep. But I remember, when we went there, like the first time when they took us there, I remember a little bit. The one lady was singing, and it was very pretty, so I followed her. But I remember everything very well. I have a very good memory. Mommy says I'm very good at math, and we were going to we have a big mountain, sort of like cliff thingies, and I know we went towards the cliff, and I think the house is like on top of the cliff.
Okay.
But I don't know how we got back. I just remember waking up, being at home, and we know one of the scary ladies was dead, and the palindrome paladin. I know the word paladin.
I can tell.
The paladin saved us.
That's incredible. You said you had a really good memory. Do you remember anything that was said? Specific. You said you had heard some yelling. Do you remember anything that was said?
She rolled a natural 20.
Dope.
Yes. Sometimes there were the three ladies who spoke to each other a lot. They called each other sisters a lot. I remember there's a Roxal, there's a Lagan, and a Morgeth, and then they would talk sometimes. I would never see the person, but it sounded like a small person, and they had a scratchy kind of voice, but seemed to be like, I don't know, like maybe like the ladies were his boss or something. They would tell him what to do. I think I heard one of them yell a lot at Ipswich. Was the one's name. We hear that voice but never see Ipswich. And then one time there was a voice which we hadn't heard that one before, but it sounded like maybe it was another man, but he sounded very like he knows how to talk really well. Like when he would speak, it sounded like, very nice on when you listen. He said something like, "Be careful when you are down there." I don't know where there is, but that was one time. But the screaming, the ladies were gone for like one whole day, and then the screaming, and there was like whoosh sounds, like boom, and then I think the lady said that's not possible. And that's when the glowy lady, the paladin, used her big sword.
Well, I'm so happy that that paladin was there to help you guys, and you have been so helpful. This whole time too, I imagine, at like when she first started relaying some of the things that was heard, I like would have flashed a little like eyebrow raise to V, but then as each new thing he said, I imagine the eyebrow just getting progressively bigger, like higher up. But
Until it came off your head,
yeah,
cartoon
it just popped
style.
off. I had to chase it down. Whoops. Um, so that makes me think of a FLCL. But unless you have any questions,
No, Salandra, you really do have a great memory. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm a big girl, and one day I'm going to be a wizard. I
I
decided.
think you are going to make one of the finest wizards. I can tell you that already.
Yes.
Unless I would have reason to think this was rude, which I don't know if that would be a thing. I would probably offer some arbitrary amount of gold to him, the father, for the time and for a sense of supporting in light of all of this.
How much gold is my question.
I was just gonna throw. I don't have a real. Dominic does not have a sense of what these values are.
So small fishing village.
Right. Would a gold be like insane?
A full gold piece is probably what a household might earn in half a year.
Yeah, it's like $100, isn't it, or something?
All right. Well,
much you
I don't
wanna
want to
ruin the
I
economy?
don't want to artificially collapse the economy. Yeah.
We became the richest people in town, bitch.
I guess.
Gives you
so then-
100 gold. Oh,
I guess
can
then
buy this
would
town.
10 silver sound decent?
10 silver's 1 gold.
10 silver is 1 gold.
Oh, 1 silver then. I figured it was 100 silver. I don't know about these values at all.
One silver. I mean the man takes it and he says, "Thank you. That's not really necessary, but thank you very much." We
I
always
do that
appreciate
awkward
it.
walk away thing that that Miller did earlier.
And then
Backwards
Jacques
you
goes
and
up.
walk out of there.
Jacques walks back. This is why I do the talking.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to fade wipe over to Shashi and Do. You were going to go speak to the young Asma girl who had been identified as Tanita. She, at the moment, is actually standing by the statue, and she has basically a barbecued squid on a stick, and she's just eating it, looking up at the statue. Looks like she is not playing at the moment with any of the other kids around, although she had been playing earlier. But she's by herself.
Well, I don't want to go up to by herself. That's so weird. What happened to her parents?
If there's any kinds of checks you guys want to make, you just tell me.
Yeah, I want to make an investigation check because I don't want to be like, I don't want to be that two adults walking up to a kid. Hey there, after she just got kidnapped the day before. She was kidnapped day prior.
Investigation or perception?
Perception.
All right, cool. Make a perception check. And Shashi, are you joining in this?
I think Sashi doesn't understand or care enough about the parental-child relationship to necessarily care that the kid is on her own. And I'm just going to go up and start talking to the kid. I'm going to sort of half shrink myself down a little bit just to be on her level if I need to. if she's that much shorter than me, just say, pretty
Okay,
statue.
Hmm.
I see the world.
That
with you.
is the lady who helped us. She's really pretty.
She is really pretty. Did you get to talk to her?
No, not really. It's kind of like very quick, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, those things do move quickly.
Do you like squid?
I do like squid. I
She
I,
just
I don't.
gives you some of she hands the stick to you. You know, she hasn't finished the whole thing. You can have a bite.
The squid reminds me of something rather familiar. So I
wonder what that could be.
uh say, oh no, that's yours, sweetheart. I couldn't.
Okay. Have you ever ridden a bicycle?
No. No, I don't think I have.
Neither have I. I want a bicycle.
Well, how about this? How are bicycles expensive?
I don't know. I don't make money, so
No, you're a kid. I imagine not. Do they sell bicycles here in town?
not really. I think, you know, mommy used to say, like, if we can take a trip to the city sometime, we can probably buy one there. Do you think it's like 5 silver pieces? Like 10?
10 silver. That is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. I think. I don't really know. They're giving like the food for free because, you know, everyone's happy because we're back. I'm happy that we're back. That place was smelly.
Yeah, what did it smell like?
What did it smell like? It smelled like my nose burnt sometimes, and it smelled like rotten eggs sometimes, and maybe like old feet. And sometimes like I've skinned my knee sometimes, like I fall down and it sort of smelled like you know, if I bled a little bit. So it smelled like that one time. Not nice.
No, that sounds awful. Can I like motion over to to come and join the conversation?
You can, and do as you've been looking around and you've made your perception check. I see you say you rolled a 23. That's very good.
Natural 20.
Yeah, natural 20. So what you notice is that people are going about their day and enjoying some of the celebrations that are continuing here, and some children are playing around, and you notice that there is a house that is not too far away from the square, and you can see into the windows of this house. It's just a one floor small house. You can see into the windows of the house. There is an Azamar woman who, because you rolled a natural 20, she's holding a mug with both hands, and there's a concerned look on her face, and she is occasionally drinking out of this mug, and she is looking in the direction of the young girl. And because you rolled a natural 20, you can also see that this woman looks to be in a bad state of sorts, in that she it's not that her clothes are dirty or anything like that, but she looks as if she's been worrying for a very long time. Dark rings under her eyes, and she is very much paying attention to what the little girl is doing.
Well, I go up to where Sasha is and her daughter, and I'm not sure. I look at when I get to her daughter, I'm like, well, hello there, and I was like, look up to see where her mom was, and I just wave at her. To
The woman.
with like a smile,
Hold on.
not creepily.
She doesn't notice you. She's still in her house. Her eyes are fixated on the little girl.
I was trying to make it not weird talking. I was trying to make her, like it was like looking like I was trying to draw attention to myself, so it doesn't look weird me talking to her kid.
I understand. She is, however, you judged by your earlier perception check in the state of extreme worry, and she rolled a perception check with disadvantage because of her current state of basically exhaustion from mechanical benefits.
Oh, and he sits down and he goes, well, hello there. Oh, and I hear that you were saved by this woman that was you have a statue of. That was pretty exciting to be saved and to see a legend, huh?
Super exciting. I was real scared. And then, she saved us, which is really cool. You're blue. That's cool. I like blue. Blue's my favorite color. Do you have a favorite color?
Oh yes, my favorite color is also blue. It reminds me of it's like have you ever took a day just to watch the clouds and the beautiful blue sky? The sky is blue, right, Adrian?
Yeah. During the day, it's sky's blue.
Okay, yeah, I think cool. I know, but you told me it was something else. I'm like,
no. Skies are blue.
Like,
Skies are blue. Just at night, there are no stars. There are the auroras across the planet.
Yeah. So yeah, he would just tell her, yeah, it's very peaceful. It brings me calmness, and I wonder myself if peace on earth feels like that. I've done it since I was a child. It's always been a fond memory of mine.
You know what I like doing is drawing in mud with sticks. Do you ever find yourself wanting to make pictures in mud with sticks? Sometimes I like to write my name.
Oh yes, and that does sound fun. He's like, you know what? If you help me out, I'm here to investigate what happened to you guys. Yeah, if you help me with something, I can give you a sort of a prize for helping me.
Can you give me a bicycle?
At the moment, no, but I can get you one. That is very much in my ability.
I like him, she says to you, Shashi. He's gonna give me a bicycle.
Well, I was going to get you a bicycle, but it was going to be a surprise.
I can have 2 bicycles.
Maybe one for you and one for a friend. So you can ride them together.
That sounds great.
Anyway, do you remember anything about let's start at the beginning, and he looks at the decapitated head on the stake, I'm guessing, and he's like, do you remember anything about the ladies that took you?
Really did not smell good, like we sometimes do this thing with fish here. It's a certain time of year we get these fish which only come in the rivers then, and those fish we like to catch them and then leave them out in the sun to get really dry, and it gets really smelly, really bad. The ladies kind of had that smell about them, but rotten eggs and feet is not good. But their house, they really liked to keep everything in a good place. Like it smelled real bad there, but like it's not dirty or anything. They know where everything is. But yeah, they fed us gross stuff. I don't know what it was. It was scary. I didn't like it there. I'll be honest with you. I was like crying a lot. So I would mostly just cry. And I'm just really happy to be back here because this is much nicer.
Oh, I see. Wait, do you remember if since I'm from the growers and I probably know a fair amount about Fae. I'd ask her, I'm like, did they like lure you with like a beautiful song or something for you to come near them or something?
Well, it was like, I go to sleep pretty early because my mom usually likes to make sure I go to sleep early. I woke up and yeah, there was really pretty singing. And I followed the singing and I met a really pretty lady. But everything was like really foggy, which is it happens here. Sometimes it gets foggy, but it was like really foggy. But the lady was really pretty, and I followed her, and she said we can go to her house and play, and there's lots of fun things there. And her singing was so pretty, so I followed, and then I went to sleep. And then when I was awake, I was in a cage with the other girls, and that's when I saw that they weren't pretty ladies. They were, what did they call them? People here says that those are hags. So they were bad, smelly hags.
Yeah. How about we play? Can you tell? I was like, how good do you think you are with your memory? Because we're gonna play a game, all right? You're gonna help me try to figure out the song that they're singing. Because as you saw me in the center, I like to sing songs, and I might know a little bit more about it if I can tell what song that they were singing. And like he shows him his songbook, and he's got like many songs.
Did you ever have a dream, mister?
I have many dreams.
So, you know how sometimes like this is a dream, but you remember bits of the dream, but then there's like a giant bugbear that says they're your mommy, and then they buy you like ice cream, but the ice cream is also cheese. And then you wake up and you think that was a weird dream. But the song was like that. Like everything is like a dream, but I know now it was not a dream because I was in the cage. So, but that all felt like it was a dream.
I see.
And
Okay.
I don't really remember like people's words and dreams.
Oh, can you remember the melody? Like, can you hum it for me? Like the sound of it?
It's so funny. It's so funny. So because it's very dreamlike to her, I had her roll like a history check with disadvantage, and she rolled 2 natural 20s.
Oh my gosh.
So she starts to hum a song, but it's not with words. It's like humming a song.
Yeah, I write down the notes that I can decipher.
it's you're a bard. So what I would like you to do is to roll d20 and add your bard level. You're making a
Gotcha.
bard check.
I like bard check. That sounds fun.
Yes, the children are rolling real well.
Good on you, kiddo. Good on you.
Yeah, kids would have already gotten to the bottom of the case.
29.
All right, 29. The way that the child is humming it is as a child would, who is not super skilled in singing or anything like that, but the arrangement of the notes, you would judge if it was put through and put out there into like the ether with enough force behind it, force of charisma, it would have an effect of a charming spell.
Well, since I'm enough of the gloom and doom stuff, do you want to tell me about your savior? As he puts back his book.
That lady, she points to the statue, but she was glowy and had big wings and a really big sword.
Well, did you hear her say anything before she, saved you, or did she talk to you at all, or no?
No. I didn't see a lot of her because there was a fight happening and I was still super scared, but I saw her after she had killed the one. I reckon that the one that she killed was the one called Lagan. I think I figured out their names while we were staying there. I think she killed the lady who was called Lagan. So I did see her after Lagan fell down, and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up and I was home.
Oh. Well then, you were very helpful, and here let me tell you what I'm gonna do, okay? And he says, don't worry, as promised, I will come back with the bike for you. And he goes, but for the meantime, he claps his hands together and he pulls out and he raises his hand and he makes like an ice sculpture of her and her mom holding hands walking. And he goes, you can go show your mommy this, okay? Them like having smiles because I'm using shape water to like create water from my create water from me being a water genasi and making this little doodad.
Thank you. I'll show mommy, but she has been very sleepy and been staying inside, so I'll show mommy later.
Gotcha. Who knows, maybe this would cheer her up, right?
Maybe.
During the course of this conversation, where I'm just sort of watching, is there a way I can make either a perception or medicine check just to sort of look at this kid? I'm not 100% sure how familiar with tiefling
She's an Asmar kid.
biology is, but
She's an Asmar kid.
Yeah.
The Asmar one. I'm not sure how familiar with the Asmar physiology I am, but just to see if there's anything that seems off or strange or different than what I would have expected.
Okay. Sure. If it was a full medicine check, it's going to be very obvious that you are inspecting this child medically.
Yeah. I don't want to do quite that without, mom's permission.
Yeah. So a perception check would be the way you would want to go here.
All right. Okay, that's an 11. plus 3 is a 14.
From your looks here, everything seems to be in order.
I would like to gather the group after the kid walks away and see if maybe we can go talk to the mom.
Okay. Well, the little girl does take her leave, and she has the eye sculpture. And just out of the corner of your eyes, every now and then you see her kind of like trying to stick her tongue to it, see if it'll stick there.
I was gonna reach.
Giggles a little.
I was gonna reach to my sending stone medallion.
Yes.
And what's the old dude's name back at the Unifiers Guild?
Drexville Resvin, the gnome.
Hey, Drexville, my friend, my colleague, buddy of a million titles.
Hello, do yes. Thank you for calling it a reasonable time.
Oh yes. This I'm gonna ask your help for something.
All right.
It'd be very easy. You can take it out of the money I have in the guild. Can you buy me a child's bicycle? Don't ask why, just do it.
2 bikes.
2 bikes. Very important.
I suppose I can ask Zanya to go and get 2 bicycles. Are you in a family way, boy?
I just promised a little girl that's helping me out in the mission I'm at, and I promised her a bicycle, and I'm a man of my word.
I suppose that's a good trait. Anyhow, yes, I'm glad you contacted me anyway. It's good. Sean is still out, just as an update, and but we are starting to have word on the attacks and the efforts that have been taking place. And well, when you do all manage to get back, we have a meeting to attend with the makers. It is not something you have to rush back for, but they have some interesting information for us, and I believe the Arch-Chancellor is wanting to hold some form of inquisition within the next 2 months.
But for an update here, apparently, at least I know one of the Hags. Apparently, it was Hags, and I know it was guaranteed one is dead, possibly the other 2 as well, from some sort of blast in the past, and I've given the legend's name, and he goes, apparently she's up and about. I say apparently. And
Well,
we're gonna look a little bit more into it, just in case if we're not having a crazy fan playing a vigilante.
if they got the job done, maybe we'll give them a job. Who knows?
True.
But
With great power comes great responsibility. See, is like, and keep us posted.
Actually, make it 3 bikes. Before you stop, make it 3 bikes. 1 for each of the girls who came back.
all 6 girls came back, but you only got the names of 3 of them because they were in town at the moment. The others are presumably with their families at their houses.
Oh.
DM, how much is a bike? Like,
I'm not sure. I'll have to make an amount.
I have hundreds of gold. I can buy bikes.
Yeah.
Same. I want to get 6 bikes. I absolutely.
I have hundreds of gold.
Yeah.
It's like $50 each. I can buy them all bikes.
If you head on to Where's, you can probably get the mass-produced ones for like a silver a piece, probably.
Oh yeah, no. 6
Wait,
bikes.
Don't worry, Sashi. I got you. Calls the Makers Guild's guild master, because I met her once.
Yeah, there are 13 of them. So the
Just
one
let
that you
know
admit.
oh damn.
Yeah, they are because the makers are an artisans guild, so they don't have a guild master. They have like a council, one for each of the different guilds there. But yes, you had met.
Just to make a hilariousness, I want to talk to the one guy that's kind of useless.
Oh, he doesn't have a badge. You want to talk? You want to talk to Tunak? Does not have a badge. No, these are for the Unifiers.
Me and Tunak are bros, though. Aw, man. I was just giving up to everybody. Damn. That'd have been cool to have Tunak on our side. I wish Tunak was on our side.
Our side. What are you talking about?
Well,
Yes.
sure. You're definitely going to be able to arrange 6 bikes, no problem.
Awesome, cool. Let's go on. Let's go head back to the party then.
All right. So all of you reconvene. Where are you reconvening? Is my question. Are you going to be going to the Blue Snapper or somewhere in the square or?
Sure, I thought we could just walk up in the square because I thought we were all like in a walk.
Yeah, it's a very small. It's a village. It's a small fishing village. The
we're
biggest
like
building in
missionaries.
town. Yeah, the biggest building in town is the inn.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all meet up.
Well then, guys, we have learned that the Hags can sing. I wrote down the song they were singing, and that the hero was Glowy.
Matches up.
Yeah, that. Do you happen to remember the name that I can't remember our girl's name gave us? The girl gave us
Ipswich.
Ipswich.
Ooh.
Does
Who
that
is
sound familiar?
Ipswich?
Yeah, does that sound familiar to me for any reason?
Not in
I-
particular.
Okay, cool.
I suspect that we will get the answers for that when we go to this house atop the cliff.
Yes.
It's a beautiful start though to this journey. What time of day is it, Adrian?
You had teleported and you had left around the equivalent, even though the actual hour is different, but it would be the equivalent of our 10 a.m.
Okay, let's go to. I would like to stop by the Blue Snapper real quick and ask the hidden matron, I guess you could say, the boss lady here, and ask if she knows. Our friend, what's his name? Something Switch. What was it?
Ipswich.
Ipswich.
Yeah,
Well,
Ipswich. Because who knows? That might be someone in the town that was helping them gather these girls. Because how did they show up right outside each one's houses?
I have a feeling that this person, whoever they are, is either still there or long gone if this has happened. Well, we got the idea from Solandra, who has a wonderful memory, that this Ipswich was some kind of servant, perhaps. They were being bossed around quite a bit. And so if this is true and their masters or master is dead, then either they still remain waiting for a new master, or they have long since fled, or perhaps they do hide among us.
As everyone walks, just like, can you confirm something for me? Did you get any weird vibes when it came to the kids, or were they doing all right? Oh, go on.
Oh, I would like the opportunity to not inspect, but assess, evaluate them more closely. But obviously, with their parents' permission, from a medical standpoint, I am concerned about this curious substance they seem to have consumed while in the hag's custody, and leaves me uneasy.
Wait.
Valentine, would you also do me a favor and just make a religion check for me, please?
Absolutely. A 9.
A 9. Okay. Um, in with because of your earlier in character roleplay, this 9 is all right for this particular check, and because of what you had spoken to the girl about with Chuck, you feel like, yeah, a servant sounds about right. They are hags. It's quite possible the servant is a familiar of some sorts. So you're relatively certain that the servant is probably some kind of familiar.
If they are a servant of a hag, it's likely that they aren't just your normal being. Perhaps some of you are familiar with familiars, if you will. And it's quite possible that they are either still there or still with, because we only have the evidence for one dead hag, and we
That's
seem to
the
have 3
thing.
names.
We have 3 names, 3 rings with those names. So far, we've talked with 3 kids whose stories seem to match up suspiciously almost. Doesn't anyone find that weird? That they all mention the same thing, the wings, the glowiness. Memory is a funny thing. There is usually something that's off. This matches up way too nicely to me.
Do you think if what I think you're suggesting is what you are suggesting, Chachi, you made a medical examination of the hag's body. They were a deceased hag.
By all appearances, yes, although hags are not something I'm innately familiar with. It's entirely possible that it didn't seem to be anything that was disguised to look like a hag, but as far as any sort of internal components or anything that should be there that wasn't, or anything that shouldn't be there that is, I couldn't necessarily say, but it seemed to be what it seems to be.
One thing that gets me is the rings. They are made out of gold iron and they have words in infernal on them.
Mhm.
Fey creatures don't like cold iron. So either this one hag is very resilient and wears those rings for no reason other than because she can, or those rings were put on after she was disemboweled.
Would you mind if I took a look at those rings by the body?
Kind of flings all the 3 over like he's flicking a coin because he's been holding onto them the whole time.
Valentine will hold the rings and close their eyes, mumble some words under their breath, and cast Detect Magic.
All right. So, casting Detect Magic, you pick up the signatures that are on, obviously, the items that your party would wear. And there is a trace of magic on all 3 of these rings. It is... I have to double check here quickly. Because I will tell you the exact... Because this will tell you the school of magic. So, I don't want to get it wrong.
And I'll mention they'll also glance over at the body to see if there's any residual magic over that.
Am I spelling that wrong? I might be spelling that wrong. Nope, there it is. Okay. It is a residual trace on all three of these rings of enchantment magic.
Is
So
there
they
any?
are magical, but it is not. It is not. I don't know how to put this. It's not like it's like glowing like a bonfire when you look at it. You know, it's
I get you. Yeah.
just enchanted.
Is the body of the hag magical or affected by any kind of magic that I can see?
There is the residual sort of nature of the being itself. Chuck gives off certain similarities of hey, you're Fae, so you have that that feel about you as well. Nothing else particularly enchanted there, but I would like you to make a perception check as well with advantage.
13.
13. Okay. You've gathered in the square, not too far away from the statue, and there are still people out and about. It's faint, but you catch the glimpse of some kind of magical signature coming from a small Asmar girl, the one who was identified as Tanita, as she steps into her house. It's faint, but there is a magical signature there. That's as much as I'll give you with a 13.
Yeah. Valentine will hand the rings back to Miller, like eyes off to where they saw that faint signature, distant, and give them back the rings. These are lightly enchanted. I'm not sure what they would do, but probably don't put them on.
No.
The body is definitely not an illusion of any kind, no magic there. And I might be seeing things, but I thought I saw Tanita with some magical influence of some kind. It might be, could be anything, some kind of magic item perhaps, or I don't know. I didn't get a clear look.
Barley, you talked to that girl, didn't you?
Yes. On
Seen anything odd?
she seemed a little distant. Very calm for as young as she was, but it's just in a way, like almost like she was halfway paying attention and such. The only thing is, mysteriously, her mother was still in her house while her child was, talking to us.
Wait,
Which I thought was slightly concerning. But I tried waving her over, but it didn't seem like she paid much attention to me. We were actually just about to convene after we combined with you guys. We were going to convene with her.
when we were talking with the out of character, what they were, Minotaurs?
Yes.
When we were talking with the Minotaurs, the parents were with her.
Mm.
They talked about how they slept well for the first time in a while. And that's the thing, they were with the kid. What about the other kid? Were the parents with?
They were.
Kind of asking the people that talk to them,
Hmm.
the other kids.
Okay, sorry. I didn't realize I was muted again. Yeah, they were. They were with her, and at first they seemed, though understandably, a little reticent to speak. I didn't know if we were to chalk that up to suspicion or just being a bit stressed and relieved and ready for this to be behind them.
So we have 2 out of 3 parents present. And then the one where the kid talks to you alone is way too calm. And where was the mom again?
She was in her house watching her child, but she was some distance away.
How did she look?
Very
Nerve-
tired, exhausted, even.
That's weird. When we were talking to, did I note down the name? I don't think so because I'm slow.
Beston.
When we were talking to Beston, he was talking about how he actually had a good night's sleep. There is something off about this one girl.
Well, I guess it's time for us to go have some tea with an I. With I was I guess it's tea time to go speak with the with the mother, because I don't know, she might enlighten us for stuff we don't previously know, because it seems like at least the parents helped you guys out.
Something about the food they were feeding them also seems odd to me.
Let's.
like
After you.
to get to the cabin and see if there's any remnants of whatever potion or substance they were feeding these children. Valentine, you're also an ASMR. Did you? Would there be any reason why you think some of this might be different for your people?
I've seen the magic that flows through our bodies before. I can differentiate between that and other types of magic.
With great haste, no time to waste. As he walks.
Let's still be tactful. Again, these girls just got saved, and we are prodding in very
Sensitive matters.
sensitive matters. Well said.
Do not worry. I specialize in talking to individuals even after calamities.
Now, while you are all going to go speak to this woman, might I suggest one of you perhaps come with me and we go scout out that mountain?
I think that could be arranged. Shock, you're good at survival and you've got power. I think you'd be a good nomination, unless you would like to come with us.
Me and Zolast at it again. Yeah, I'm down for that. I don't know if out of character. I don't know if it's statistically. I don't have any real. I don't think advantages in it, but I'm down to do it.
I'm not particularly good at speaking to people, but I am heavily invested in the scientific aspects of what's happening up at that cabin.
Well, we could split in half if that feels better, because safety in numbers.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, we can take Tuxel with us. She doesn't particularly enjoy the indoors.
Mm.
True.
All right, well, we'll begin heading out that way, and well, the rest of you go speak to this woman.
Awesome.
All right, so we are going to zoom into that conversation where you are going towards the house.
As we walk over there, I'm gonna excuse me, Miller. Can I see your on the reins for a moment?
Sure. And he kind of pulls them out of his whatever satchel he has and hands them over.
I'm gonna look to see if I can tell if there's if there would be if there's like any type of artist of like what artisan would have made these, like where they would have got them, because
Mm.
you know how all artists leave something about themselves behind, because I'm proficiency in jeweler's tools.
Okay,
So I know
sure.
I know a thing about jewelry.
Yeah, yeah. So just go ahead and roll an intelligence check plus proficiency.
Okay. I'm just gonna have to. I just add proficiency after this.
Mm-hmm.
My dice roll so slow in roll 20 right now. 21.
21. So there's no distinctive signature or anything on these rings, which are very plain cold iron rings, aside from the one symbol that is on each of them with the three names of the three sisters on. But something that you do notice that you did not that none of you picked up before is that there is a very slight, I want to call it prickliness on the inside of the ring, which would be when one is wearing it, it would be enough to just pierce the skin a little bit.
Well, I believe it was you, Sashi, that was believing that these rings were probably used for torture, and I think you were right. Probably got off the black market, because it's not from any jeweler I know from Thala.
I don't know if torture is necessarily the word I would use, but I don't think these rings were worn by choice.
Hang on. Is the symbol protruding, like the infernal symbol protruding out? Like, is it so? If someone were to wear the ring, it would imprint.
It would be more indented.
Okay.
Yeah. But the slight prickly bit that is under would be on the other side of the ring under the writing.
Yeah, so it's like within the inside of the ring.
Yeah.
The combination of something that's sharp enough to draw blood, the hold iron on a fey creature, and infernal symbology. I don't quite know what it all means together, but I don't like it.
There was also a mention of a fourth voice, a
Mhm.
man.
Mm.
Someone who sounded a bit different.
Silver tongued. They spoke well.
Oh, as you see, like, dude would have like a disgusted face on. I almost like turned away or a disgusted look on his face. And he goes, "A person that uses their words to manipulate people. Disgraceful."
But that doesn't explain why those rings were on one hag and why this hag was made an example.
I'd keep
Oh no.
if you don't mind, Miller, I'm going to keep this one, just so not all the rings are in one place, if you don't mind.
I may have an idea.
Please speak your mind.
Yes.
Something tells me that whoever gave those hags the rings. Either this was staged or this one hag was being made an example of. And it just so happens that they could chalk it up to a rescue mission as a happy accident. Because
Well-
either the two other hags went into hiding, and that's why the rings are here. Or, no, actually, I think that might be it.
Well, let's go talk to the mother, and then we're on, and then we, with great haste, we would once the we would probably make we make our way back to the rest of them. Or if you do feel if you do feel uneasy, you could probably still catch them before they hit the mountains, the mountain bed,
I'm fine.
the foot of the mountain.
All right. So you make your way towards the house. And by the time you get there, you do see that it's not super far away, but the one curtain to that room, which looked to be a living room, has been closed. The door is closed, but you can give a knock on the door if you like. Who is there?
Oh, my name is Du Barley. I am from the Guild of Unifiers, representative of the Guild of Growers, and these are my acquaintances that we've come to look into on the odd happenings of your town, and I'd like to speak with you if you have the time.
Give me one moment. And you hear a bit of shuffling and such. And the door opens, and there is a woman with blonde hair, which is verging on red, and you can tell that she is wearing clean clothes, but heavy bags under her eyes. She looks absolutely exhausted. She looks about to be perhaps in her early 30s. And she has a very concerned look upon her face. And she says, "Oh, you hear about the incidents then? Yes, that makes sense. You'd want to speak to me. Please come in." She leads you into the very modest living room. It is basically attached to where there is a kitchen, and you can see that there is a door that you can basically see the door to the back of the house, and there is two doors on the right. Well, two doors on the right, which would be, you imagine, bedrooms or such. This is just a very simple home. Would you like anything to drink or eat while you are here?
Oh, no. It is quite fine.
Okay.
I see you seem tired, ma'am.
I'm fine. It's nothing really.
You know, I just
Mommy,
want to-
are those people here? They were talking earlier. Yes, dear. I know. Don't worry about it. Maybe go play with your cousin for a while. I just got back, Mommy. It's all right, sweetheart. I'll make you dinner when you come back. Fine. And you hear the door opens, and Valentine, you would still see when the girl comes out, there is that bit of magic that is on her. It is what would the word be for it? have to look at the right school. I believe it's evocation, but I've got to double check. Conjuration. There is a hint of conjuration magic on her. Now
One of
that
the
you are,
scariest schools of magic.
now that you are closer, you can tell it's conjuration magic. But Valentine, make an insight check.
24.
Okay. As Tanita is leaving the house, she looks back just a second, but directly at you, and she leaves the house. And here is where we are going to pause our story for today. Thank you all for joining us on Thala Unbound, and we are super excited to continue this fantastic story next time. Make sure to join us next Saturday, May 7th at, well, I will put the schedule up on our Twitters, so follow us at the Bear Pin, pin with an H, and yeah, join us for Moon May, and let's help raise some money for the wolves. And quickly before we go, does anybody have any projects that are coming up that they would like to talk about?
Not really.
Not currently.
All
Nothing
righty.
I have definitive dates or times for, but some non-D&D stuff I'll be a part of. If there's notices.
Fantastic. All right, everyone. We love you very much. Thank you for the followers. Thank you for the viewers. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for stopping by.
Goodbye.
Bye.